Good morning, St. Francis. Good morning, people of God. It is Thursday, the 26th day of December 2024. It is the second day of Christmas, the day after Christmas. It is also the day in which we honor St. Stephen, the first martyr. So coming to you from the interior of our church here at St. Francis, our Christmas tree lit, the Stayback Nativity right over there, a little bit over there. And this year they decided to put the kings, where are they? Where are they? Yes, they're back there, all the way back there in that corner over there, on their way, on their pursuit to visit the Christ child. Eventually, when we come to that day. So, but everything is still set, still in beauty. A little bit of the remnants of the celebrations yesterday for the masses that we all had yesterday and things like that. But looking quite lovely. We do not have morning mass today or tomorrow, which is kind of an interesting sort of a thing. So it's like, does anybody want to go to church? Should anybody go to church? It's always a big question. Well, what do you do with these days that follow? Because technically, maybe it would be nice to have at least a mass. But we'll work on that. We'll see what happens. But today there's kind of a jolt that happens in our celebrations. And again, if you don't go to mass, you don't recognize what day it is today. You kind of don't get that jolt. But you should, because again, the rest of the world perhaps has stopped celebrating Christmas, or if they are, it's kind of a muted whatever it is. They may be taking down trees and putting decorations away and what have you. Mostly everything, ribbons and boxes and wrappings, are all in the trash and everything else like that. And so people are kind of just sort of recovering from the holiday and then looking forward to New Year's Eve, basically, and whatever that will mean for many people. But the reality is we have embarked upon 19 days of celebration, so there are 18 days remaining, within that 19 days of celebrating Christmas and trying to understand what all of this means, because it is not just, the birth of a wonderful little baby, who makes everything, better. It is in one way, but there's a lot that will happen to this child, and a lot that happens or is expected to happen to those who dare to believe that this child's birth means something. Again, Isaiah calls him Wonder Counselor, Mighty God, Prince of Peace, King forever, all these kinds of things. Do we understand truly what that means? And are we able or willing to live, out of what all of this means for this child to be born for us? And so we are met with a stark reality the second day after Christmas, celebrating not more of little baby born in Bethlehem or shepherds and angels, praising God in the highest, or, what all those other wonderful, familial, tender, sentimental ideas that unfortunately get too packed into Christmas, because it is more than just a sentimental, tender time. This child being born, as Simeon says when he is presented in the temple, will be a sign of contradiction, and will cause many hearts to be revealed and cause many sorrows to be expressed and throw everything into a loop. And so we see part of that today with Stephen. Again, the first martyr that we have in our tradition, that we mentioned that we have in our tradition, but this first martyr, again, whose death is what we're celebrating today. And the first reading from Acts is about that. Stephen dying by stoning because he dared to express his faith and not relent in expressing his faith. And those who did not want to listen to it decide to do away with him, and they think that they have. The gospel for today from Matthew then talks about you'll be brought before magistrates, and judges and all kinds of things like that, and not to worry about what you are to say to them when they accuse you and they demand an explanation of who and what you are, because the Holy Spirit will put the words into your mouth. Okay, all fine and well, but again, this passage from Matthew goes on to say that brother will turn against brother, and father against son, and mother against daughter, and all these other kinds of things are going to happen because one dares to witness to Christ. Well, again, family life could be quite difficult perhaps during this holiday season. Again, we always have this sort of issue, of it trying to be the most familial of all holidays. And then again, we have, blue Christmas celebrations because it isn't for a lot of people. And the question is, well, why should it be familial at all? I mean, why should all of this tender family ideas come into this? Yes, there's a Holy Family, but again, this Holy Family is not living a life that is comfortable in any way, shape, or form. And they will soon have have to run and flee into Egypt because a madman wants to kill their child. It isn't about, those wonderful scenes, family togetherness, because it may be family togetherness, but in a very, very different kind of a way. And so it's to remember, again, what this child means, and that his birth is meant to begin the reversal of what human beings think is the way the world should be, is what human beings think is the way that we march into the future, to give us a new understanding of ourselves and of our purpose and why this world has been created. This child's birth initiates that. And many people are not happy with that. Many people are not comfortable with this, and they will try to do away with it, and try to do away with those, perhaps in some ways, who continue to profess and to witness, to the wonder and beauty of this child's birth. Stephen, again, there may have been others before him, but as recorded memory goes, he is the first, basically, who gives his life because of what this child represents. There's a lot that will be asked of us. There's a lot that will be required of us. It isn't just a moment respite, to gather around a table with food and presents. It is a time in which to identify who and what we want to become and who it is that we will become, because this child's birth and the light it gives is meant to change our futures, our fortunes, our destiny. A blessed Christmas, St. Francis and people of God. May the Lord give you his peace.